Hey, what's going on? Surprise.
Okay.
Well, it shouldn't be a surprise.
So you still under Blood Red Books? Or?
Bleed Red, yeah.
Okay.
That's, yeah. Only in the chat. Like,
Only
it's
in
not,
chat.
yeah,
Okay.
for some reason.
You were on the wrong
well, no, like, I use OBT, and it never asked me to sign in before because it just used whatever account.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, like, last time, I think it was Wednesday night when we did that show about that asshole. Yeah. And, it asked me to sign in for the chat, and I was like, that's weird. I never did that before. And I accidentally signed in with my Hotmail account instead of my Gmail account. And so it didn't affect the show streaming, but it just doesn't come up as 13 o'clock. Tom will come up as 13 o'clock.
Yeah,
because I have him as a manager on the account, so he can comment
I'm in it.
on,
Yeah. So today is Friday. It's a Sidetracks edition, which is our favorite show, really. We like to do Sidetracks. It's fun because we drink and getting ready to go out.
Yeah, usually. Well, tonight we are.
Tonight we're going out.
Yeah.
Going out to the goth night.
Going
it's
to
the last night
at
that one location. They're moving it.
Yeah, they're moving Barbarella.
Yep, to a better place with full bar.
That's what we heard. We found out last Saturday when we went to the New Wave night, and John, the owner, like, he talked to us for a long time, and he was just like, hey, you know, we're moving. He said what happened was that where he did the club, because it used to be downtown, it was like an actual nightclub and everything, and when he moved it out to, like, the warehouse district, right? And so he owns this building that most of it is, like, pickleball courts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he closed off, like, one end of it and essentially, like, turned it into a nightclub a couple nights a week. And he thought that everything was above board, and he's been running it for more than a year.
A couple years. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while. And I don't know if some, like, busybody, like, reported it.
No, he said the cops just drove by it.
Oh, okay. So the cops drove by and were like, what's going on in here? And they basically said, okay, well, it's illegal for you to run a nightclub in here.
Yeah, because it's not zoned for it.
Because it's not zoned.
You used to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But all that stuff in the 90s about fucking running raves in warehouses, that they kind of made an ordinance about it. But what was funny is that the way it's zoned, it says for those pickleball courts that he can do events that sell not liquor, but just wine and beer.
Yeah,
He's going to do events there
because he doesn't have full liquor at that place.
Right. It didn't. So that looked like he could do it.
Yeah.
But they went back and they go, no, what you're doing here with the music and that's not the kind of event that this is a club.
Yeah, which
so you can't do it because they have a different. There's a different law that says if it's a nightclub, it's got to be in certain areas. So it fit the definition of a nightclub.
It's a pain in the ass.
But they didn't shut him down. They gave him time to move.
Yeah, they said, they gave him 30 days.
They went mad at him, yeah.
And he said they weren't, like, assholes or anything about it. I mean, he's been doing this for, shit, he had iBar downtown for, what, like 30-something years? Yeah. Like, so...
Cops got suspicious. They kept going through there and go, what is this?
Yeah.
And it got through there... Because before it didn't have a sign.
Yeah.
He's got a big projected sign on it.
Yeah, with the logo. Like, just projected on the front.
Yeah, and when he put that projection up there, I think that's when the cops eventually went by and go, that's a nightclub. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, because I guess
they didn't ever go in there. And then they went up there and fucking said, this isn't zoned for this. You can't do it. We'll give you time, but you got to move this.
Yeah, which is kind of sucky. But,
yeah.
But he said he's already got another location lined up.
Yeah, he's got money.
Yeah, he's not worried about it. He owns, like, lots of businesses. Like I said, he didn't even have to...
millions of dollars.
He didn't even have to, like, really even run that place. He just did it because he was into it, you know what I mean?
He made his original money as a DJ. He considers himself a DJ. He's not, though. He's a multi-million-dollar business owner.
Yeah. He just really likes to DJ. He still DJs.
Yeah.
Like, most of the night. Yeah. Like, every Saturday.
I think he has clubs in Texas, doesn't he?
Yeah, there's one. There was one in Austin. I guess it's still there.
Yeah, he's got several clubs, and he's got a bunch of apartment buildings. He tried to rent us one, remember? And I said, John, we got a house. He goes, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He thought,
so we got to have you and a wife.
Did he think we were homeless?
Yeah. So we got you know, I got good credit. We own a home.
we own a house. Yeah, we should invite them over sometime.
I did a long time ago. I said, yeah, we come.
His wife Lorraine is also...
I'd like to do some business with
also awesome.
We
And
already do.
his daughter is cool. She bartends sometimes.
Yeah, we already do business with him, but I'd like to do more.
Yeah.
Either him or Scott.
Yeah, our friend Scotty also owns a bar in Sanford.
Yeah. Thing is that Scott hasn't...
I've never been to that one. I was there before it opened, but I haven't been since.
Scott hasn't broke even yet, though.
Yeah, he just opened that not too long ago.
He says he's going to be running slightly in the red for probably 6 months.
That's about standard.
Yeah.
For opening something like that.
Yeah.
CB said, Jenny, you look like my dream fetish date. Thank you
gotta
very
see
much.
her. You gotta see her.
Oh, Well, I wanted to thank Zach for giving us a super chat. So thank you very much for super chat. Get this, Joaquin Phoenix just walked off a movie he co-wrote 5 days before filming started. Okay. And now the whole thing's been shut down. That poor crew.
Well, they fucking pissed him off, probably.
I guess.
You better listen to fucking Phoenix.
you better listen to Joaquin Phoenix.
He fucking makes money.
I wonder what they did to make him mad. Or was he just being pissy? I don't know. Oh, I have to get up?
Yeah. Show him what you got.
Jeez. He always wants me to get up after I get all comfortable.
He's tripping.
Well, yeah, your foot was there.
Okay.
Move your damn feet.
That's what Jen's
Move your damn feet. I love these tights. These are great.
Yeah, the tights are like, they're like fucking Japanese.
Like tattoos.
Tattoos get so
kind of like they're all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like these tights.
Yeah.
I think I've worn them one time, but I think it was a long time ago. But yeah. Let's sit back down.
Go ahead.
Why?
Because.
Everyone's getting seasick.
They'll be alright.
They'll be alright. Everybody, bring your Dramamine. Dramamine, whatever. But yeah, so we'll see. Like, it took me a long time to get used to the weird warehouse location. But after a while, I was like, oh, I kind of like this because it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's like you could...
Private parking.
I mean, people would go out in the parking lot and... Drink and smoke pot and fuck and...
Yeah, in the cars and
do
shit.
various... And no one cared because no one was around. You know what I mean? It's not like... And everybody
wasn't really open to the public.
Yeah, so it was just kind of cool. But it's like, he told us, he's like, I have a location secured, but he's like, I'm not going to announce it till later. But he's like, some people like it, some people won't like it. But he's like, it's not in an area with other nightclubs. That's what he said. Like, it's not around other nightclubs. Because that's kind of what we were worried about.
I just hope it has good parking.
Yeah, that's like the thing. If it's in downtown Orlando somewhere, like, parking is kind of hit or miss, you know.
I don't think it's downtown Orlando.
Probably not. You know what? Well, I was gonna say it'd be kind of cool if it was down in maybe like the Milk District or down like around where Will's Pub is. But the parking down there is a bitch.
I was hoping it was.
There's no parking lots. You got to park like on the side of the street or down like the residential street.
Remember down OBT where that V13 used to be, the old V13? Down there.
That might be good.
It was in a strip mall.
That was in a strip mall.
There was a pretty good club, and it was in a strip mall.
Yeah. It wasn't a goth club all the time.
No.
It was something else.
Yeah, it was...
Well, it was some other kind of bar.
Yeah, it was like...
It was a bar.
It was generic tropical looking Florida club with a bar. It had a good dance floor. It had a stage, a DJ booth.
And then like every Friday night, they would let them do like a super goth night in there.
Yeah. And that was their best night for a long time. But then the guy that owned it got fucked. Or not owned it. The guy that was leasing it got fucked out of it. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
And he liked that club. He liked our night. He said that was his best night.
Well, I can imagine. Like I said, goth nights, and actually they've gotten a lot more crowded, like in the last couple years, because more
youngsters.
There's a lot more young people like coming in big groups. You know what I mean? Which you didn't see for a while. Yeah. Because it seemed like a bunch of just like old farts and medium old farts. But then like now you go to Memento and it's like packed and like half of, maybe more than half are like just in their 20s.
I got a Facebook group on Facebook called Our Gothic Orlando.
Yeah, we started it a long time ago.
Me and Jen started it about, it's on my thing. I manage it. Me and Jen started it probably about close to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's the main hub pretty much. It's got 4,000 vetted members.
Yeah, because we don't let anybody.
I don't let just anybody. You got to be vetted. You got to be goth. And all the artists, all the fucking clubs, all of them fucking promote there. There's a few other ones. I'm not the only one. There's a couple other ones, but I'm one of the main ones. I got a fucking new video dropped. Fucking, they're gonna play it at the club tonight. Dimitri said he's gonna play that one with the video with the girls.
Yeah, that was a good, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we saw the guy that directed the video.
Yeah, he sent it to me.
Posted it and then
like
sent it to him, and he came in the club and.
Well, I got to approve somebody to go in. Fucking yesterday, I fucking approved 70 people.
Yeah, we had to go through lists. I'm glad you do it because I don't have time.
And I'll let them back up for a week, so like 70 to 100 a week lately. And most of them girls, and cute, young, cute, and they know how to dress.
Yeah, because we always look through their pictures first.
Yeah,
and it's like, why do they want to be in here?
Yeah, and they're from this area, and there's new ones coming. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like seeing
so
ones.
They want to know where all the clubs are.
And they look great.
Yeah, they look great, and they want to know where the clubs are.
Yeah, so they're like going out and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
There was one dude. His fucking, I couldn't see his whole
profile. Because some people have it on private.
Right. You know? And it was a black dude in a white coat with some black pants. And that was all I could see. And I was going like, there's nothing goth on this fucking, what I can see of this page. And I said, I got a feeling about this dude though. So I let him in. And his request had been waiting for several days. When I let him in, a post automatically went up. And it was him fucking spitting fire and twirling things. And
he had like all the industrial shit on and everything. And we're like, okay, good.
I was like, oh yeah, good thing I fucking. And he goes, if you want to contact me, I got a FetLife fucking, which is like a fucking fetish profile. I got a FetLife set up and everything. And I'm I'm in the area now. See, he was a performer.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing I let that dude in because if you don't look goth, I chuck you out. I don't let you in.
Yeah, because we don't want a bunch of because
you're gonna have tourists in there.
Yeah, and dudes we've been burned before, with dudes wanting to be let in. Because sometimes you just let in anybody, and then they just come in and start I want a goth girlfriend.
Yeah, I want a goth girlfriend, and I want her to bend to my desires. I'm not goth though, but you should be honored to be with a guy like me. You know, I'm dating down.
Because I was like, because we're inferior.
Like I'm dating down. Yeah, no.
That's how I always see it.
Get the fuck out of here! What are you talking about?
Yeah,
goth girls, especially the ones 30 plus, are set on expert. Okay, they're not set on novice. And the younger ones are fucking extra difficult.
Yeah, they also hate everybody, probably more than I do. Yeah, which would be hard to do.
The real young ones are very superficial. If you're not wearing the right things, they're just not even going to fucking register you.
But I was like that too when I was younger.
Yeah,
I'm still kind of like that.
So, and then they realize, well, sometimes though, they'll fucking go, oh well, those old people. Oh, I didn't realize that they know all these. I didn't realize that they're running this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It is kind of funny.
Yeah, and then
they
go
just
back,
show up, and I'm just like,
and then they look at your
maybe
profile.
You could be my kid.
And see what you looked like at fucking 30 or 25, and they go, oh, okay, yeah.
We lived through all this shit that you like.
Right. Jen had one girl fucking the last Memento Mori said, I love everything about you.
And she was like the bathroom.
And she was like this little fucking little uber goth little chick. And fucking she goes, how old are you? You know? What did she say to you? And you said, I'm 51, and she was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it blew her away.
Yeah. I think they let her. I don't know. Like they maybe think it's cool, but I don't know if they think it's weird or not. I don't know.
They know. It shows. Well, see, I was the same way up at Man Ray in Boston. You'd meet people in their 40s and 50s, and they looked good.
Yeah.
Then you find out that they've been doing this since their very early 80s.
Yeah. And
that they would know people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like artists and stuff and authors. You know, they would know Poppy Z. Bright.
Shit, man.
They were friends with them and shit. You know, they were shit like that. That's how I met Sleep Chamber. John's Wiz from Sleep Chamber. They were older. And all the older ones were heroin addicts, pretty much.
It was pretty endemic in the scene at that time. But I didn't know anybody that was into it really, but I knew some people who knew people that were,
They were like something out of the Velvet Underground.
They were, It was kind of big.
And they had super hot girlfriends who were also heroin addicts.
Yeah.
and strippers type, and
Yeah.
probably escorts too. But they were like fetishy, PVC stuff and fucking bondage.
And like I said, it
gear.
was a lot.
There's a lot of it.
Well, it was a lot more transgressive to do that shit back then. Like
Yeah.
nowadays, you walk around looking like this, and
Yeah, they're kind of used to it.
most people are not gonna give you shit about it. Like some people still do, depending on where you are. But back in the '80s, people didn't see it,
Yeah,
so you walked around like that, like you were gonna get
yeah.
your ass kicked or bottles thrown at you or something.
Well, Boston and New York wasn't a problem.
Not
with
that, but like, yeah, I'm talking about where I grew up.
Yeah, and the South, kind of intolerant to subculture,
Yeah, big time.
and it didn't really matter. The whites and the blacks, both of them, intolerant to any kind of subculture. But it's not like that anymore.
No, not really.
The internet fucking got rid of all that. They know what it is now.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least, I mean, they can identify it, so
Yeah.
it's not... I mean, back in the 80s, people didn't really know what it was. All they knew was it's a Satanist.
Yeah.
You're a Satanist.
What was it? Probably about,
I used to get that
probably
all
about
the
5
time.
or 6 years ago. I was fueling up the car. Jen was all decked out. I was decked out. We were going to some goth thing. I looked like a damn vampire. I was wearing fucking full Victorian outfit and everything, and a whole big old fucking truck of rednecks fucking pulled up. And dude jumped out and came. He goes, "Dude, you look awesome." Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that? You look awesome. Where are you going? You
Yeah,
going to them
that
clubs
would have gone differently back in the 80s.
Back in the days, it would have been fucking totally different.
That would have
What?
gone a lot differently.
Where's that club at? Where's the? Oh, okay, yeah, dude, you look awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like that in the 90s. Or the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah, or the 90s either.
Yeah.
Like, even into the 90s, it was still pretty bad.
You're like, what the hell is this? What is that? What?
Yeah.
They've been like that.
Well, I had a friend in high school that looked kind of like Robert Smith. He had, like, the big teased hair and makeup and everything like that. Man, he got beat up all the time
Yeah.
in Florida. Sadly. CB says, Tom, you lucky SOB. How did you get such a woman?
Oh, well, man, I've told these stories so many fucking times.
Oh, but they're so fun, Tom.
Yeah.
I like to hear them.
Jen has seen the photographic evidence. I only went out with hot, good-looking goth girls, pretty much, or they were foreign. How? I could talk my way up any skirt eventually. Part of it, and I was fun, and treat women like people, and
I know, it's a
have
crazy
fun with them.
concept.
Yeah, and you're not really confrontational. You're just kind of collaborational with them, and always had lots of female friends.
That's a big plus.
Yeah, and I'm good with all my exes pretty much. All my exes love me. She loves all my exes that she knows from around
Yeah,
here.
except a couple that weren't really exes, but
Yeah.
just kind of like 1 or 2 night stand type situations.
There's those.
There's a couple of
Dates
those I
and
don't
shit.
like, but
Yeah, but
you're long term.
yeah, I didn't really like
Nice.
them either, though. I was
That's
just here
true.
doing what I was doing, yeah. Doing what men do. You know?
All your long term ones.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
met your ex wife though, but you don't.
Yeah, but she's remarried.
Yeah,
She's totally different now. She's not in the scene either.
yeah.
I
I mean, she doesn't live here. She lives in. Where
she lives in
Mississippi. Or?
No, not anymore. She lives in Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
But that wasn't a big move for her.
Yeah.
Past Christiane to Slidell's only about fucking 30, 40 minutes maybe. She's probably 45 minutes away, hour away from where she grew up. But and putting time into the goth scene, you can't just show up. You got to be there for a long time. Politics.
Well, because when you moved here.
I moved here, and people who knew me were here too.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
Like not in the Orlando area, but I grew up in Daytona, and then I would come to Orlando and Tampa. So I've lived here most of my life. I was born here, and you came in what 2008?
2008, yeah.
Something like that. And you were around for a little while.
Yeah.
And I used to see you
Yeah.
like at the clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you were
I was
and I
reestablishing
was still
myself.
married then.
Yeah.
But I used to see you all the time.
Yeah,
Before I even talked. It was a couple years before I even talked to you, I think.
Yeah. I was building myself back up after fucking all that shit. down in Mississippi and losing everything. Had to build everything back up. Just it just happens.
And it's funny because
it took me a while.
I remember you saying at one point that in a lot of ways I kind of pursued you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
One time you called me the Terminator.
Yeah.
I was kind of like the Terminator. I was laser focused.
Yeah. I liked Jen, though. Jen was a good girl.
Yeah, I wasn't being like a stalker or nothing like that, but I was just...
When I first saw Jen was married. And I didn't really know much about her. She was a cute woman. I didn't realize that she was as old as she was because she looked really young.
Yeah, I got that baby face.
Yeah.
And I really had a baby face back then.
Yeah, she was...
Even though I was in my mid to late 30s.
She was in her mid to late 30s, but she looked like she was in her late teens or early 20s.
Yeah, I looked like a baby.
She was chubby.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, but she was in a marriage that was not going well. But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She started to basically separate from her husband, even though they lived together. They didn't hang out anymore. They were already going.
Yeah, he moved to a different bedroom.
He started moving. Yeah.
We just couldn't afford to
split up.
You know,
right.
We were trying to.
So she became a more regular fixture at the club, and we fell in almost instantly as soon as she was on her own.
Yeah, and then I got an apartment in Orlando.
Yeah. And then we started hanging out even more. I'd spend the night over at her place, cook for her and shit. And eventually I was like, you're wasting money being separate. We might as well just move into my place. And, you know. By then we were a thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see, we were friends for like a couple of years, man, and people,
like at least
all
a year
the bartenders
and
everybody was like, fucking. When we finally made it official that we were a thing, they were like, well, fucking finally. They were like, everybody knew, you know. Everybody was like, what the fuck, you know. It was like that.
Yeah.
And then when I married her, which is about a year ago now, huh?
Almost a
year ago. You got that anniversary shit written down, right?
So I don't have to write it down. I remember.
I don't even remember the date, man.
September 14th.
September 14th. Okay.
12 days before my birthday.
Okay, after my head injury, I have a hard time remembering numbers and dates. But what was I going to say? You
said when we got married, everybody was like...
Yeah, everybody was like, well, fucking, what the...
What took you so...
You know who understood it, though?
Who's that?
Laura.
Yeah.
Mark's ex.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna...
Yeah.
We know... I was like, which Laura? We know more than one.
Yeah.
Okay,
that Laura's known us forever.
I knew her before I knew you.
Yeah, Laura's this super skinny older
cool,
chick.
I like her.
Yeah, everybody. She's real popular. She's a lot older than she looks, and she dates.
She's younger than me though.
Younger than her, but she looks like a kid, basically, kind of, because she's just so fucking skinny. Too skinny, if you ask me. She's like. Yeah, you got married, huh? Fucking, I was like, yeah. She's like, well, of course you have to because we're all getting older. We all have to, because she's thinking the same thing. She's like, you know, you're all gonna be, you know, you're gonna be taking care of each other before you know it sooner or later anyway. Or you know, and I was like, yeah, basically. She's like, we might as well fucking get all the paperwork done. And I was like, yeah, you know, you gotta make it official because there's paperwork and shit. What happens if I get sick and she can't visit me in the hospital because she's not related?
Yeah, that used to worry me because, especially like when you're.
What happens if I die and she doesn't get anything out of it? You know, I was just like, nah, she's putting enough time in with me, you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's not like I was thinking about it all the time.
It doesn't make sense,
but it was just, you know, we'd been together for 12, 13 years, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, we're getting older. Like, one of us. Yeah. You know, God forbid, what if one of us gets cancer?
Yeah, 13 years is twice the length of the average marriage.
Yeah.
13-year marriage nowadays, that's a great marriage.
We've been together almost as long as I was with my first husband.
Yeah. And
we divorced after 14 years.
We've had very little trouble with each other.
Yeah, no, I mean, not really.
Yeah, if it wasn't trend related.
Well, yeah, that was a whole different...
Yeah.
That was a whole different issue.
Yeah.
That was a whole different issue.
Yeah, we've had very little... And I actually... Our relationship got better, if you ask me.
I think so, too.
It got better.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
And it's like... It's weird, I don't know. I think a lot of it was you going on test and
That was
you
part
getting
of it.
like because your mood got so much better and you just like
I didn't feel like I was
became
at death's door.
Right, yeah. And so I feel
like I
like
was dying.
you were a lot more like enthusiastic
Yeah.
about things and
Yeah, I was like, what
and
am
I think I know this is gonna sound weird to say, but I think you doing the trend thing, as horrible as that was to live through for me.
Yeah.
I think in the end, I think that ended up working to your benefit too.
Yeah.
Because it gave you like a new insight into different
what hormones do.
sides of what they could do to you and stuff. And I think that it made you like a lot more insightful about
Human nature and shit.
and about behavior and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think that really like helped a lot.
Yeah, because I used to hear shit like, about women doing postpartum depression where they go and kill their kids and shit. And you're like, oh, that bitch, that's crazy. Execute. Or women, fucking just having menstrual shit happening to them. Like, they're pussies. That's full of shit. That's because dudes have a very stable hormonal profiles.
Must
so
be
they're
nice.
the same. We're the same all the time. We're very.
And I'm pretty stable as women go.
Yeah, we're very stable. So we're dependable because it's the same over and over and over again. Well, go fuck with your hormones. Do some shit that just really gives you really high fucking progesterone.
You'll
levels.
understand where women are coming from.
Yep. You'll go like, oh yeah, this is what shit does suck. I do suck. Matter of fact, this shit's horrible. You know what I mean? And it's because you start questioning yourself and everything.
Yeah.
And it's because
Constant.
It's because of what progesterone will do.
Yep.
And women have a lot of progesterone in them.
And we know that it's
very self-conscious and very.
We know that it's like that.
Yeah.
It's a constant
but
battle.
It's a reality, yeah.
Yeah, it's a constant battle between. You know that's probably not reality, but then you're kind of like, well, what's up? Well, maybe it is.
You're
though.
right.
You know what I mean? So you're always like that. Like I said, the funny thing about it was when I was telling our friend Jen about you being on trend, and like I said, I didn't even go into like super detail or anything like that, but she immediately said, "Oh, like we feel all the time."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
She understood immediately. I was like, "Yeah, we feel like that all the time. It's not fun, is it?" But
No.
we're used to it, I guess.
We see. I've taken a lot of powerful drugs before: LSD, cocaine, all kinds. I've fucked with everything except heroin. I wouldn't fuck with that. I wouldn't fuck with fentanyl or
No,
crack,
nothing like that. Like I said, I'm more into like I do
high end shit.
I've done LSD, I've done pot, I've done shit like that, but I've done coke. But it's
one of the most mind bending ones was Tren. Tren is like the emotional LSD. LSD is more like about visuals and mental gymnastics and shit, and visual distortions that are pleasant. Tren for a dude is like emotional LSD. Your emotions are fucking crazy. You're like a damn werewolf. Your testosterone levels are fucking sky high. Probably like 4 times what would be normal for a human. Your body's trying to fucking process and get some kind of a hormonal balance out of what you're doing. And the things that you're taking are kind of converting into progesterone. High levels of it. Men don't have high levels of progesterone. You have enough progesterone. You have the progesterone levels of a pregnant woman in you. All right?
yeah, imagine that.
So what you feel like is you feel like a pregnant Superman. You're extremely fucking aggressive and fucking super confident, You think you can fight a dump truck, and you probably would do pretty good against a dump truck. And at the same time, you're totally insecure about yourself. You feel like you're fucking, a total fucking loser, that you didn't fucking live up to that you're not good enough. It's the weirdest fucking feeling of what progesterone will do to you. And you're just emotional as fuck, super simpy and sentimental and shit. And fucking going into yourself and picking yourself apart. You're torturing yourself over the past and weird shit.
I do that.
And that's what women do.
Yep.
And it's because that's what...
I don't like it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I used to think, well, that's because those women are fucking crazy. I said, no, that's the effects of progesterone. That's just how that hormone feels. And even though you know that it's an I know what's doing this. I know why this is happening. You have a hard time fighting it.
Well, see, that's what I mean, and like we know that that's what it is.
Yeah, but you have a hard time fighting it.
But you can, a lot of times you can't get past it. Like you're trying to get past it. Like that's fucked up. Like why am I thinking like that?
It'd be the same way as you'd be drunk as fuck and you're trying to talk yourself into sobriety. You can't be sober. You're fucking loaded. Your alcohol. It's like that.
I've tried to do that.
Yeah, you can't do it.
It doesn't work.
It's like that.
It doesn't work. There's only, I mean, mind over matter is a thing, but it has limitations. I have totally tried to talk myself into being sober. Tren has never worked, not one time.
Tren is, it's a 19-nortestosterone branch anabolic steroid. The two main ones in that branch are Durabolin and Decadurabolin. They came out of a fucking company back in the 60s, and those are excellent. They came out with another version called Trenbolone, which is another 19-nortestosterone. It's the same as the other two, but it's a different ester. It's got a different cluster of fucking carbon atoms around it. And it's all it takes.
And
the average dude that takes Tren, you can handle it for about 3 months. Month 4, you slowly start getting bit. Month 5, you're fucking crazy. And I did that for at least 5 months.
Yeah, I don't know when you started. So
and that wasn't the plan. The plan was just to be on it 3 months. And then 3 months lapsed, and I was like, why the fuck would I want to come off of this?
Had you done that, I probably just wouldn't even have noticed.
Yeah, I said, why the fuck would I want to come off this, man? I feel fucking great. What are you talking about? I'm fucking like, I'm perfect. You know what I mean? I'm a god, man.
Yeah.
You know, what are you talking about?
He literally said shit.
I'm talking about fucking.
He literally said,
this is fucking
I remember
awesome.
you coming in this office and saying that literal thing.
Yeah. That's how you feel.
Yeah. And I'm looking at you like,
yeah.
What?
So you're like, I'm not coming off Tren.
Talking about.
Yeah, and then a month later, you're the fucking goblin. You're the green goblin out of fucking Spider-Man.
I'm glad we can laugh about it now because it was horrifying at the time.
Yeah. And it's because all the fucking estrogen is being stripped out of your brain, and your brain doesn't work well without any estrogen in it.
You need some estrogen in your brain.
It's just all, it's neurodegenerative.
Yeah.
Because fucking estrogen is a neuroprotectant. Okay, so you start kind of, I don't want to say it's like Alzheimer's, but it's just, your brain doesn't function very well.
No.
Without that in it. And you start fucking basically having like emotional hallucinations. It's fucking rough, man. And I had to be talked out into coming off that shit. Because I thought I was fine. I thought I was perfect. No, you're fucking bit. Crazy.
Yeah, you were acting like a lunatic.
Yeah. But what I did...
I tried to tell you, but I was scared to tell you anything because I thought you were going to... So other people had to tell you, like, because you weren't really listening.
I had to confirm it. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And it took me about 2 months to totally go back to normal.
Yeah, because you still were kind of acting.
Yeah, you get kind of like... And then, but... The only thing Tren would be good... And I was taking a mixture of Test and Tren. And I think Masteron, I was taking that too. It came in a pre-mixed stack. It was supposed to be balanced it all out. But it was never designed. It says right there, do not take this longer than 3 months.
Yeah, they know what they're talking about.
They know exactly what they're talking about. But the thing is that when the 3 months lapses, you won't want to come off.
Yeah, you'll be like, I'm king of the world.
I'm king of the world. I'm a bad man. You think you're Muhammad Ali and shit. And I tell you what, you can fight like fucking crazy on it. I was fighting on it. You love it. Fighting becomes almost sexual. It's really good. Pain feels good. It's just, if you were going to go on a fucking military kamikaze mission, that's what you take. If it's like an end of the world type situation where you're probably not going to live, and you want to do as much damage to the enemy as possible before they kill you, take Tren. Take Tren for about 3 months. So you want to juice up. And then when you're kind of crazy, go. Yeah, it'd be good. It would work. Because you're mean, too. You're real mean.
You're real mean.
You're mean and then you're like simpy. Like, I wasn't mean to her. I'd be real fucking simpy. I didn't think I was like, you still love me? That kind of shit.
Yeah, it was
fucking
that
weird.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. You were... Because it's unlocking all these fucking...
And I was like, are you all right?
Yeah. It's unlocking all these primal forces. You're trying to, like, build a nest and defend your mate and fucking keep other males away and shit. You're doing weird shit. It's just like what animals do. Straight out of fucking Wild Kingdom.
Yeah, it's crazy. Dana says, they say Pisces is the most emotional zodiac sign. And I know I'm a very emotional male, so I believe it. There's nothing wrong with being emotional, though. You learn to control it. I don't put much stock in horoscopes. I'm a Libra, though. But honestly, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with being emotional. I think that's just like a shitty thing that people say to somebody because people are having emotions that they don't like or that they're uncomfortable with, so they're just saying, oh, you're being emotional, because they don't want to listen to what they have to say. So I think that's that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, if you weren't emotional, you'd be a sociopath, and that's bad. So, you know, it's dumb because, like, sometimes I feel, and I'm like not super girly or super, I don't know, I don't consider myself super emotional, but shit, man, like, sometimes I'll be watching some true crime show or even like a fucking sad commercial or some shit like that, and I'll just like tear up and stuff. I'm like, God, I'm stupid. Why is that happening? You know what I mean? But it's just, then I'm like, yeah. I used to be embarrassed about it, but I'm not anymore. It's okay. You know what I mean? Don't be embarrassed about it. You know, I cry at movies. It's all right. Zach gave us another super chat. Thank you very much. Jen, did you ever show Tom that Rockstar character I made up? I think I did, but I don't remember. It was a while back, so I don't remember what happened with that. I think I did, though. So many things. I just forget things. My brain is Swiss cheese these days. Let's see. Camp Guy said my daughter having a baby in February. She said it's a boy. So glad because they've been trying for a good while. Dana said Tom thinks being introspective and having emotions is being a sin, but it's not. It's normal. It is.
See what I'm talking about.
Well, having emotions is normal.
Being on trend is not normal.
Well, being on trend is not normal.
No.
And when you are on trend and had like the weird insecure thing,
yeah.
In some ways, I was kind of like, wow, you actually do have emotions. But then, like, in another way, it was like I'm not going to say too many emotions. Too many stuff.
Yeah, too many stuff.
Too many stuff. We're referring back to like a Hoarders episode from like years and years ago. But I don't know. I think it's kind of shitty that people do think that if you're emotional or you get like that's simpy or whatever, because I don't think that. I don't know why it's cool for dudes to go around like being sociopaths. I don't get that.
Well, they're not being sociopaths. Like I told
to me,
you,
they seem like sociopaths.
The normal male hormonal profile puts them in a certain mindset where they kind of come off that way, but that's because when you have the normal testosterone, progesterone, and estrogen balance that dudes have, it makes you very confident, and you don't really worry about details. It's just kind of a you become kind of a little more impervious to things because, you know, guys have evolved to survive trials, you know, and to have difficulties and make it.
And to be overconfident even when they don't know what the fuck
they don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's okay. We're going to fucking get through this. Because that's what nature...
You see that all the time.
That's what nature selected. That the dudes that were like that tended to procreate, survive and procreate. That's all it is.
Oracle says an upside of getting older is having a completely barren field of fucks. Exactly. Honestly, I think that's the best thing. And that's what I tell younger people. That's the best thing about getting older is that the older you get, like, the less you give a fuck about what other people think. And the more open you are about just telling them to go fuck themselves.
But that doesn't mean give up and just go to shit.
No, that's not what I meant. Right, yeah. I'm just saying it's better. I've found it a lot more liberating because I've found a lot more like confidence and a lot more. Yeah. Like I'm not afraid to like tell people to fuck off anymore. Whereas when I was younger, I wouldn't have done that. Like I didn't really have the assertiveness. That's what I'm talking about.
Some people take that and go, yeah, I don't give a fuck anymore. And then all of a sudden they gain a shit ton of weight. They dress like shit. They don't go anywhere. So that's not what we're talking about.
I meant you don't give a fuck about what other people think of you.
What
I
found was better is that as you age, you should actually start working harder. And instead of going down quietly, fight the shit, all right? Like, in my age group, I would be like the top 5% in my age group. Because most dudes don't fucking work out at all. You know what I mean? They're fucking totally sedentary lifestyle. Which isn't good. And isn't really social. Me and Jen go to the club and fucking we can entertain younger people. You know what I mean?
We're
And
entertaining
have
the
pull.
youngsters.
And have pull and status with them. You know? Where if we look like shit, they'd just be like, fuck, what are they doing in here? Get them out of here. That's how they look at you.
Well, yeah.
So it's better to actually try to move up as you get older, to develop yourself. Try to be. You're never going to become younger, but you can become better, tighter. You know, better at what you do. You know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can't just like say, "Oh, well, I'm 50 now" or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna skate.
The best motherfuckers, both men and women, as they aged, they actually got cooler. Look how cool fucking Billy Idol was right up until he died. He motherfucking died.
Billy Idol didn't die.
Not Billy Idol.
David Bowie.
David Bowie. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
I don't know why I said Billy Idol.
I don't know.
Yeah, David Bowie died making fucking cool music videos about him dying.
Yeah.
Okay, so he lived right, if you ask me, and he died rich. Motherfucker, very rich. From real estate.
Well, yeah, he got in on that like early.
Yeah, he didn't make his money in music.
Him and I think Paul McCartney too, like also did that shit. Like they invested in art and real estate and stuff, so they had like lots of money. They didn't blow it all on
they
hookers and drugs and shit like that, like a lot of other rock stars did.
David
and they're
Bowie,
like, "Oh, I'm broke now. I have to go work at Circle K."
David Bowie wasn't a musician. He didn't, he wasn't even really an actor. He was great at those. He was a real estate investor. That's where all that fucking money came from. And really the art that you saw him make was his side projects at that time. He didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah, he just wanted to.
Yeah, he didn't.
Well, it's nice to have fuck off money. So
yeah, he
you
had
can
fuck
just
off
do
money.
whatever the hell you want to.
And he would show up in a movie that he wanted to be in. He didn't need the money.
Yeah. Wow, that must be nice. I can never imagine what that would be like.
Mm-hmm. I want to be in that movie. And just shit. He's in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Oracle said that's what she was talking about. That when you don't give a fuck about anything, it's like it makes you a lot more confident because you don't care what other people think of you anymore. You're not under those constraints.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And she says, I've had 2 near-death experiences in my life. Processing that can be very empowering.
That'll help.
Yeah.
Want another drink?
Yeah. TB said, Tom and Jenny, have you ever seen the dark sitcom The League of Gentlemen? I have not, but I've heard a lot of people recommending that. So I might look into it one of these days. Xanada said, I hope Billy Idol never dies, to be honest. He was one of my childhood heroes. He's kind of a cool dude, man. I bought Tom his autobiography a while back. We never finished reading it, though. I still have the shit, man. I bought him another one too that we never finished reading. He's always like, well, you have to read it to me because he can't really see all that good and he can't really concentrate on reading anymore. So it's like I still read a lot, but he doesn't read it as much anymore. So he's like, well, you have to read it to me. Phantom said, didn't David Bowie and Mick Jagger hook up with one another? That was the story. I'm not sure if they ever did or not. I mean, if they did, that's kind of hot. Actually, that's really hot. I was never into Mick Jagger, but I don't know. I would watch David Bowie fuck anybody. I don't really care. You know what I mean? I was all right with it. Well, like I said, I think we mentioned this on the show before, that even before David Bowie died, obviously. But I used to tell Tom that I was like, that's what I want to see before I go. I want to see some porn with you and David Bowie.
She does some shit.
But then he died, and I was like, I'm never going to see that. And I'm not like I was seeing it anyway, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Who was that was talking about Billy Idol? Xanada? Yeah. I saw the best show I ever saw live was a Billy Idol show. It was Billy Idol, Whiplash Smile Tour at Pine Knob Theater in Michigan. The Cult opened up for him. It was a fucking great show. And really, it was Billy Idol. His show was the fucking best show I've ever seen live. He fucking sounded great live back then, and the energy was fucking fantastic. Never seen anything close to it. He was really good. He comes out on stage, and he was fucking limping, and he pulls out a fucking dagger. It looked like a cross, and he sticks it into the monitor like that, and fucking starts singing, and when he walks away, security comes and pulls it out of the monitor so the crowd doesn't get it.
Yeah, it's like somebody's gonna reach in there and pull it out like the sword.
Yeah, but his leg was fucked.
Stab somebody with it.
His leg was still fucked up from that motorcycle
accident. Yeah, he was in that bad motorcycle accident.
Wasn't that bad. what happened is he was fucked up and he was coming into he was coming off of an off ramp and put his foot down and ran over his own leg.
Oh.
Basically is what happened. Oh. The peg fucking his leg got caught between the ground and the fucking peg as it was rolling forward. And it fucked his leg up pretty bad.
Yeah, it would.
But he wasn't going that fast. There was a lot of rumors that he was going over 100 on a fucking FZR 1000 or something. No, it was on a Harley Davidson. He was just coming off of an off ramp.
Yeah.
And there was a stop sign or a stoplight at the end of it, and he stopped and he was fucked up and put his foot down at the wrong time and ran over got his leg fucking caught.
Oh man.
He said he was loaded.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, Xana said Tom showed me that Billy Idol Christmas album. It actually kicks ass. Yeah, I really like that. We play that in the house like every Christmas.
Christmas, we play the Billy Idol Christmas album.
Christmas Day, we always put it on.
Yeah.
Like on the TV, you know what I mean?
I subscribe to him on YouTube. And out of the blue, he'll do a live stream. He did a live stream a couple days ago, or I guess about a couple weeks now, from the top of the Empire State Building on a little bitty fucking. He did a fucking little acoustic thing with fucking Steve Stevens. I think it was might have been Rebel Yell that they did live. I think they did Rebel Yell, and it was just for like 6 minutes, and then it went away.
Misty says, I have hope for kids today. My 17-year-old daughter loves Billy Idol.
Oh yeah, he's great. Well, he was such a good-looking guy when he was young, man. The girls fucking loved him. Even though he was just coked out to the fucking gourd.
Everyone was back then.
He was coked out like crazy. He was...
Everyone in the 80s was coked to the gills.
He was also a heroin addict. But it didn't take him down as far as it could have. He made a big comeback.
Yeah, I mean, he's still
50s.
alive and he still looks good, so...
He made a big comeback in his 50s with... he did a little show with Miley Cyrus. And you can see it on YouTube. He's ripped. He fucking went on test to build himself back up. He looked great. He's not looking that good now. He's getting pretty old. And, man, he's just done so many drugs. He says he's lucky to be able to remember most of the stuff that he did because a lot of it he can't really remember.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I liked him because he was a British punk rocker and he fucking loved the South, Southern culture, and he liked Elvis and shit. And
a strangely large number of British and Australian punk rockers really liked Southern stuff, like Southern music and things
Southern
like
culture, the imagery of the South and stuff.
Yeah, there was something like really... Well, like I said, that just kind of reminded me of like somebody like Nick Cave, who's Australian, not British, but in his early days when he was in the Birthday Party, and even nowadays, like he was super, super into like old like Mississippi like Delta blues, like all of that kind of stuff, and he loved like Johnny Cash and all that kind of stuff, and I think a lot of British and Australian punk rockers were into that.
When the Rebel Yell album came out, he got huge in the South. People liked him. But guys that were kind of like me, who kind of had some like punk rock and goth interests and shit, liked him even more. But he was mainstream in a way. But people they were identifying with it. I remember, other Southern guys I was growing up with for the summers. I was mostly just there for the summers, visiting my dad. They fucking were just like, man, that dude is so fucking cool. Look at his hair. It was fried out fucking white hair. But he had good videos and girls dancing, and he had a really cool look. It had a mixture of like sport bike look mixed with like punk rocker and kind of like Elvis kind of mixed together. And the sets were kind of something out of like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, or these Bauhaus looking sets with fucking inquisitors and flames and fucking guys with fucking scythes and shit, like the Grim Reaper, and drug references, lots of sex references. So we loved it. Yeah. Even the fucking White Wedding album with Piper, his girlfriend Piper, the one that was fucking...
I thought it was Perry.
I thought it was Piper Perry, wasn't it?
I thought it was Perry Lister.
Perry Lister, that's what it was.
Her name was Perry Lister.
Okay,
she's the one in the White Wedding video gets the ring put on with the blood.
Yeah, she's the bride.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks great. Probably another junkie too, though. They were all fucking.
Yeah, they all.
And they had all this
like
fucking,
I said, they kind of all were. Right?
They all kind of were.
That era.
And then they showed, and the people watching the fucking wedding are all his club friends.
Yeah.
So they were all just legitimate people from that time from the club scene.
Camp Guy said the Eurythmics was one of the best live shows I've seen. Fox Theater Atlanta, about 14 rows back, around
Fox Theater,
1985.
Must be Detroit, huh?
No, Atlanta. He just said Atlanta.
Okay.
There's only one Fox Theater.
I think there's a Fox Theater in Detroit.
I never saw the Eurythmics. I really like them though. Yeah, Xander said Billy Idol is peak 80s music. And then CB said Tears for Fears and A Flock of Seagulls are the best 80s bands. Man, there were so many good ones though. I love Tears for Fears. Flock of Seagulls are great. Probably my, favorite 80s band. I couldn't pick one.
Flock of Seagulls for me though wasn't totally solid. Only some of their songs were good. Other like if you bought one of their albums, only half the songs I thought were good. The other ones were kind of like ambient and a little bit stale. That's the way I remember them.
Because look, I love Duran Duran, right?
No, everything on the Duran Duran album.
I love
good.
Duran Duran.
Yeah,
and Tom also loves Duran Duran. And Tom also loves. I don't know if you guys know this, but he's also real into kind of some 80s girl groups.
I love Bananarama.
He loves Bananarama.
Yep.
And the Go-Go's.
I like the Go-Go's too. Yeah.
I like them.
More
too.
into the Bananarama.
Yeah. Every time, because I even put like some.
I know all the lyrics and the dance
songs on.
shit. Yeah.
Like I put it on our Spotify, so like every time it comes on, he's like all doing the hand gestures and shit like that.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah,
And
girly
I'm
music.
I'm like,
Super
here's
girly.
your girlfriends.
Fucking love it. That's my girlfriends.
And then if the Go-Go's come on, I'm like, here's your second tier girlfriends.
Yeah. Well, they abused me. I couldn't. They had me in the damn tour bus for too long, man. They fucking wouldn't let me out. Got pictures of it and everything.
Yeah.
I was only 14.
Man, scandalous.
I'm not going to charge him with anything. I'm going to say that.
You had a good time,
Yeah.
right? We talked about that on the show before, right? It was probably like a long time ago. Like many years ago, just as a joke.
Yeah.
Like I photoshopped Tom into pictures of various like there was one of him with David Bowie, there was one with him with Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury singing to me.
Yeah, there was one of him with Evel Knievel.
It looks real. Yeah, and I'm a little kid. I'm a 6.
Hey, I've been a graphic designer
Knievel.
a long time, baby. Like I can Photoshop you into some
real.
shit. So don't piss me off. I'm gonna Photoshop you into some real fucked up situation.
I'm like 7, and I'm in a red STP jumpsuit, and she's got me next to fucking Evel Knievel in his fucking white fucking Snake Canyon jumpsuit outfit where he's gonna jump Snake Canyon, and fucking it looks like I'm talking and he's listening.
Yeah, it looks like he's like consulting.
Yeah,
like prior
it says
to
Evel Knievel
I was proud
consulting
of that
with
one. I
Tom
think
on the Snake Canyon jump.
I think that came out really
well. It looked
well.
good, yeah, it looked good.
But my favorite one, I did one of you with Andrew Eldridge from Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah,
so.
me and Andrew hanging out.
And then
And it looks like we were hanging out. We're not though.
But like I said, my
we even
favorite
dressed
one
kind of like we fit kind of with the way we were dressed.
Yeah. My favorite one was the one with you and the Go-Go's.
Yeah, the Go-Go's.
Because I was so happy. I found a picture of the Go-Go's.
Yeah.
That was like all of them, but then Belinda Carlisle was at one end, and she had her arm out like that, like woohoo! And I was like, oh my god, there's room for another person.
Yeah.
And so like when I put Tom in there, it looked like she was like,
yeah.
It was like perfect.
Yeah, and I'm like 18 in the photo.
It looked so good,
And
and
like,
so like we posted them all on Facebook. This was a long time ago,
Yeah.
like without saying anything.
Yeah.
And like some people thought they were real.
Yeah, a lot of people believe her.
So
She put me on
he made up a whole story.
She had pictures of me at like 16 and shit. Like,
Yeah.
the fucking long hair and shit. And the fucking
Yeah, like teenage him, not him now.
No, not now. I had long hair and I was like 16, and she had me on the fucking cover of fucking Tiger Beat, and it looked real.
Oh, that's right. I did the Tiger Beat cover
Tiger
too.
Beat, yeah.
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 I found an issue that had, I think it was C. Thomas Howell on the
Yeah.
cover.
I definitely looked like a boy model back then.
And and a lot of people bought that too.
They bought that. They're like, "You were on Tiger Beat?"
You were on Tiger Beat?
They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look like.
Don't you remember I was a rock star for a little while in the
Yeah,
80s?
at 16, I was just like pure queer bait.
I mean, you were very pretty as a teenager, Tom.
Yeah.
You had like that Rick Springfield hair.
Yeah.
You know, you wish you had Jesse's girl kind of thing. Well,
They'd
no,
been-
you got Jesse's girl.
They'd have been trying to talk me into gay porn and shit at 16.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that. But yeah, that's what was so funny. Like the picture that I used of you, where you were 16 or whatever, on the cover of that magazine, you totally could have.
Yeah.
I mean, that totally could have been real.
Yeah, it looked real.
Nobody could have questioned it. Like I said,
I showed it a long time ago. I showed it to some girls at fucking Starbucks, and they fucking bought it. They were like, they were all going, wow, wow.
Look, I used to be famous.
You're on TV.
How long did you keep that going?
Of course I'm on Tiger Beat.
Did you ever tell them that
and they were
that
like,
it was
no,
fake?
I'm not good. That is you. Of course that's me. And next to me on a little below me is fucking
When Michael J. Fox?
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox.
Like an 17-year-old Michael J. Fox.
Like I said, I looked for a long time for a Tiger Beat cover.
Yeah.
That I thought would work with that photo.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time on this, you guys. And like I said, I put you in a lot of different photos. A lot of different.
Yeah,
people.
it was funny.
It was very funny.
It was
and like I said, we just posted him. He just posted on his page without.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the time I toured with the Go-Go's. Man, these girls wore me out, like on the tour bus or whatever. And then he just posted the picture.
Yeah, I was making up stories.
And everybody's like, "What?"
I was making up stories.
When did this happen?
Yeah, the people that really knew me knew I was fucking bullshit.
Well, yeah. I did a good job though. If I
yeah,
say so
yeah.
myself. Like, you know what I mean. Hyde just said, "I remember Tiger Beat." Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I used to buy it if Duran Duran was in it, but I never bought it otherwise. I was more of a fan of Star Hits, which I guess in the UK was Smash Hits, because that had kind of slightly more alternative music in it, but it had some mainstream stuff in it too. But they did sell it over here, but it was called Star Hits for whatever reason. They're talking about Blondie. Yeah. I love Blondie.
Yeah.
And Kim Wilde. Yeah.
Yeah, not as good as Blondie, though.
Blondie's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Shit, like fucking...
So many good songs.
Debbie Harry was like so... She's one of those people that's just like effortlessly cool. Like everything she does is cool. Like she can't help herself.
Yeah. One of the few girls that wasn't very shapely that I still thought was attractive. She had a very cool face and just her personality is very cool. But even back then I was like, she's not real curvy. You know what I mean? But
yeah, she was real skinny like a lot of women were back then.
Skinny and kind of boxy. But she was attractive. Yeah.
She had a beautiful face.
Yeah, I loved her face. Fucking, H.R. Giger really captured her in some of his photographs and the works of her. He's got about 6 or 7 of them that I've seen. He did a really good job with her.
Zach sent us another super chat.
Thank you very much, Zach.
He said, "I'm mad a lot of 80s music." All right, get out. No, I'm just kidding. But I got really into Janis Joplin lately. I think that's part of what inspired that character that I sent Tom some pics of him. I really like Janis Joplin, actually. So, I mean, I guess I like a lot of 80s music just because that's what was around when I was growing up, and that's kind of what happens. You kind of get into the music, but I don't know, like... I like music from all eras, really. Like, if you just play me something good, I don't care when it's from.
Well, there's good stuff in all eras.
Yeah.
But 70s depends on what you're talking about. 70s disco, some of it was really good, but it's cheesy as fuck. I was analyzing the Bee Gees in the car. And I was going like,
people. We got some Bee Gees on our
and
on our
this
list
shit's
too.
great.
And some Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, Olivia's great.
So.
Fucking, but I'm listening to the Bee Gees and fucking, I'm going, do you realize how ridiculous
it is ridiculous.
This shit's fun. If this
came awesomely ridiculous.
If this shit came out now, people would think that this was some kind of a parody.
That it was a joke.
That it was a joke. I mean, some of that vocal shit that they're doing, they're like, that. No, you can't be serious. But they were.
Yeah. You could do that back then.
It was experimental.
You could do that back then.
Yeah. But there was a lot of bad stuff in the 70s, too. I mean...
Well, that's true of every era. Like, and a lot of people that look back fondly on 80s music, yeah, there was a lot of great fucking music in the 80s, but a lot of shitty music in the 80s, too. It's just people don't remember it as well.
Late 70s punk rock. Sex Pistols. Pretty good. They had some late 70s fucking Art Nouveau fucking shit that was, remember, like off that fucking Chanel commercial coming out. It was fucking great. I gotta remember that woman's name, but there was a Chanel commercial. We fucking said, man, that is a great song.
We kept seeing this commercial. I think it's for Chanel. And I was like, what is that song? That's a great... I was like, it sounds like Nico or something like that kind of vibe.
And it sounds new.
It's not, though. It's from the 70s.
Yeah, it was from the late 70s, and it was a Japanese French girl. a Japanese girl that lived in France, and she just had a normal name. I don't remember what her name was.
Amanda Lear.
Amanda Lear.
Amanda
and it's called
Lear.
Follow Me.
Lear like Learjet.
Yeah, Follow Me is the name of the album.
What
name
a
of the
great
song.
fucking song that is.
Yeah, and it's fucking great. You go like, man, this is 77?
Yeah, we would. As soon as I heard that, I kept hearing that commercial. I'm like, that's a great song. Like, what is that? So it's like, so I looked it up on the phone and like we found it, and then I put it on Spotify, and it turns out that a lot of people have like downloaded it.
Yeah, but in general, for the 70s metal, that's where it was at. Judas Priest and shit. I think there might have been some. I think Iron Maiden came out in 1980, so I don't think there was any 70s Iron Maiden, but Rob Halford and fucking was kicking ass, and so was Black Sabbath in the 70s. I was going to say Deep Purple. They were okay, but I'd give it to Rob Halford.
Yeah, I couldn't really...
Yeah.
Deep Purple were good, but I could never like super get into them.
Yeah.
I think Iron Maiden were better, I think.
Yeah, but that was later. Iron Maiden was almost kind of like a copy of Deep Purple at first, in a way. Kind of.
Yeah, I can see that.
Kind of, in a way. It was all kind of prog rocky, like really hard prog rock. That's what Iron Maiden kind of ended up becoming. I don't know. It's hard to say.
There's
Because
some...
the first two Paul Di'Anno albums were fucking hard. I liked them. They were almost kind of like punk rock. Oh shit! You gonna leave me here? And I was gonna go run and get another drink. Okay, well, I gotta pee real quick. But the your booty looks fantastic. I'm gonna lick that pussy. Huh? I tell you what, shit. What was I getting at? But I think quintessential fucking 70s music for me. Very early 1970s fucking Judas Priest. I just loved it. Especially the Sad Wings of Destiny album and the Sin After Sin album. I just thought they were fucking awesome. And most of it having to do with the lyrics. The lyrics, fucking very powerful, real kind of, it was kind of masculine sounding. You know, it was just that the topics were fucking real top, you know. And I remember fucking when Rob Halford came out, it was in the 90s. People were kind of like aghast. No, he's gay. He came out, and I was like, dude, he came out like in 77 or 78 in the fucking Sad Wings in the Sin After Sin album. He's always been out. What are you talking about? Just fucking listen to the song Raw Deal. He says he made the spike on a Saturday. No, he said, I made the spike at 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Okay? All eyes hit me as I walked into the bar. He says this is down on fucking Fire Island. And he says fucking a couple cops playing rough stuff. What are you talking about? he said the fucking he's talking about a fucking bondage, gay bondage bar. It's a leather daddy bar. Anyway, great song, but you know, when I first heard it, I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. I was still in high school. But by the time I was a high school senior, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's a leather daddy. Yeah, I'm gonna go make another drink.
All right. Ooh. Yeah, we still got like an hour before we have to go anywhere.
Okay. All right.
So you're fine. Phantom says, Jenny, when you were living in England, how old was the home you were living in? Was it really old? I lived in Wales, not England, but it was probably, it was a row house, 150 years old. I don't remember how old it was. It was for sure like more than a century old. Actually, up until the 80s, it didn't have a bathroom inside. They actually put a like there was a, you know, you had to go outside in the backyard to go to the bathroom up until the 80s. So that's how old it was. It had a bathroom when I was there, but they put that in the 80s. And I lived there in the 90s and early 2000s. CB said, I got a BJ with iron butterflies and a gun of Davida playing in the background 17 minutes. 17 minutes and 10 seconds. So it's like, that's how long she knew to, like, to go on, because that song was so fucking... I forgot that song was 17 minutes long. I kind of like that song, I admit. That's so fucking funny. Yeah, Phantom said, yeah, that's right, Debbie Harry's considered one of the first female rappers.
Yeah.
Because of the song Rapture. Well, that was, wasn't that, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the first song that actually had rap or hip hop that charted, right? And it was a white girl. Well, it had Fab Five Freddy on it too, but...
I don't know. Well, I don't think he wasn't in the video.
He was in the video.
I think they just referenced Fab Five Freddy.
And
the
he
guy
was in
that's
the
in
video.
the video is another DJ.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the first one that charted, because
I always thought it was.
I was in California at the time as a kid. This is right before we moved to Brazil. It might have been by a couple of years, actually. Come thinking, time gets kind of distorted. And I remember that being on MTV.
Yeah, me too.
And but I had heard rap before, and it was they were playing it in California. It was a song. It was a dude. Shit, I'm trying to think of it. I can picture it. It's almost on the tip of my tongue. If I relax and stop thinking
like,
about it,
was
I'll
it
remember.
national charts, or I think they were just talking about like the top 40.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't national charts.
That's
but
what
they were
I'm
playing
saying.
in California, and I think it was the Sugar Hill Gang. Maybe I can't remember what.
Oh, maybe
was
they've
that?
been around a while. But like I said, there's different, because
Right, I'm trying to think of.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I just remember hearing that a long time ago, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Rap and punk rock were happening in New York around the same time, and the manager.
So there was some crossover.
There's a lot of crossover. So was it with industrial. A
Yeah.
lot of rap and a lot of early industrial coming out of Detroit when I was living there sounded the same. Public Enemy and Skinny Puppy sounded similar.
Which
they
is
first
weird
came
when
out.
you think about it. But
Yeah. I bought Public Enemy, Yo Bum Rush the Show. I fucking had Mosey Weighs a Ton on it. And fucking 98 Oldsmobile. It had a lot of good shit on it. And it was very homemade, like something you made in the basement. And it had a lot of real cool imagery, like black nationalist imagery. And I was like, man, that's really cool. I wish we had something like that. We had Skinny Puppy instead, though. And one was like the biomedical horror, and the other one was like black nationalism. And you could play them side by side back in those days, and they had a similar beat, similar production styles. They were also sampling. They both sampled, and they did things backwards. So they'll run drums backwards. They did things like called scratching too, which is kind of like running something backwards. But they would use that as an instrument. Skinny Puppy didn't do that. They would just take tape and fucking splice it and run it backwards and do all kinds of weird shit. Sounds like it's done by a computer, but it wasn't. Early Skinny Puppy was all analog, all done by fucking around with tape recorders. And they also had guitars and keyboards and shit, but no computers.
I mean, there was a lot of like experimentation back
Right.
then, which was what was really cool. And like I said, there was all of these musical subgenres that weren't in the mainstream that were kind of like cross-pollinating one another, because like what Gilded Age Phoenix says Fab Five Freddy was in Rapture. Yeah, that's what I thought.
He was?
They wanted Grandmaster Flash, but he didn't show up, so they replaced him.
Okay, maybe I got him confused. So the guy in white is Fab Five Freddy? I thought that was somebody else. Okay.
As far as I know.
I thought it was somebody else.
Phantom says I like punk and reggae crossover songs, like the Clash did a lot.
Yeah,
there was a lot of that, because
Yeah,
especially
they
in
were
the UK, like a lot of punk bands were real into reggae. Also,
Yeah.
like that's where ska came from, and honestly, like even goth bands like Bauhaus,
They have a lot of reggae.
they have a lot of reggae influence. They were real into reggae too, because that was like a big thing, and like some of their, especially on Mask, their second album, which came out in '82, there's a lot of like reggae influence on some of those songs, like especially in the beats and
Yeah,
stuff.
Americans didn't get, in general, mainstream Americans didn't understand reggae and why there was what ska was, which was white reggae kinda. new wave reggae or mixed with punk rock.
Yeah.
And why there was a punk rock connection, because Americans don't come from the UK. They're not part of the British Empire. What was happening is that punk rockers were working class, sometimes lower working class British people living in the fucking projects. We call them projects. They call them council estates. They were fucking really bad in the 70s. I mean, dudes were getting brains swelling up from getting pissed on by mice and shit, you know, like fucking Johnny Rotten. They were fucking bad sanitation there. So they were listening to punk rock, which was like a very rebellious form of rock music made by poor kids that really didn't have any musical skills, most of them. Some did, but most of them didn't. They were kind of self-made. They would hang out all in the same bars. And they hated mainstream British music of the time, which would have been prog rock.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is a very fucking elevated form of rock.
I mean, I like some of that too, but I can see how that would kind of piss you off
and
after
they
a while.
saw that as the fucking music of the fucking upper class.
Like elitist.
Snotty motherfuckers. And they would not play that on the jukebox. Jamaica is part of the British Empire. You had Jamaicans living in those same neighborhoods. And they had Jamaican music on there called reggae. And the punk rockers would listen to that. They would fucking put reggae, you know, in, and they would demand in those places to go just reggae, because there was no punk rock to select. They weren't making it yet. So the punk rockers were listening to reggae. Well, it started to crossbreed. Some of those Jamaican guys that could do reggae started hanging out with the white guys who could play instruments, and they made bands that were a mashup between the two. They were kind of like rock and reggae together. And that was called ska. That's where you'd get shit like Madness and the Specials. And it was a uniquely British thing. But that shit influenced the United States. The United States got hit by what was called the British New Wave, which was coming out of punk and ska. And then a new thing came out called the New Romantics, which were kind of like early goths. And that would have been Duran Duran. All right. Duran Duran fucking invaded the United States and conquered it when that happened.
And I mean, they came from...
They were a huge hit.
They came from the British club scene, which was usually like Visage, like Steve Strange, Spandau Ballet, and they came from that scene too. Like, all of that kind of stuff where everybody was... And that was the weird thing about the New Romantic movement, because that came like after punk a little bit. That was like more post-punk, because that was a reaction to punk.
Right, they were going to go the opposite direction.
They wanted to go the opposite direction. We want to go back in time and just be like beautiful and fabulous, like Lord Byron or whatever.
They were poor kids by American standards. From the hood. But they were... And punk rock was about embracing that. They would wear garbage. Okay? Trash bags and shit. They would.
Yeah.
They would take shit and cut it up, which it had its own look. And eventually that actually became a high fashion. People started to copy that. Designers would copy that look.
And then, like, real punk rockers were like,
we
okay,
get pissed off. This shit's going mainstream.
It's jumped the shark.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, some of the kids from that same lower middle class and, you know, working class background said, you know, fuck being poor. Let's be rich.
Let's pretend that we're rich.
So they would just start wearing the most fabulous, fantastic shit. They were called like the New Romantics. They were fucking wearing billowy shirts and shit.
It's kind of a throwback to glam from the early 70s.
Yeah, that's kind of where Prince got his look from the New Romantic look.
Because people forget, but like the first Duran Duran album, they were very New Romantic. They had all those big billowy shirts.
Yeah, it looked like they were getting ready to fucking fight bulls.
They did.
Or ride some horses.
Well, you're talking about My Own Way, that video, was a straight up bullfighting video.
Yeah, right.
I like that video, though. Yeah. But yeah, it's straight up bullfighting.
And then, you know, an album later, Duran Duran's on yachts with fucking mixed race supermodels on the beach with fucking...
Got all that Patrick Nagel artwork in the background.
Drinking champagne and shit.
That every basic bitch in the 80s had a poster of it on their bedroom wall.
Yeah.
Including my best friend. I did it for my
And by that time, those guys weren't fronting. They were a fucking powerhouse. They were all millionaires. They were rich. They got rich quickly. They never would have got that rich without America, though, because that's a huge market. And they fucking conquered the fuck out of it for a long time. They were good. They were kind of like the second coming of the Beatles.
Yeah, I mean, people went ape shit for
fucking
them.
shit. Girls loved it.
I loved it.
Yeah, guys liked it. I liked it, but you didn't really want to tout that you liked it that much. It was girls liked it too much. You know, they might question you. They're like, "Why you like that too much?"
Are you gay?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Well, they were all good looking, too, but they could actually play. They were good.
Well, yeah, they could actually play, and they could actually like largely write their own music,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean.
Well, they
weren't
had
just
guys perfecting it too.
Well,
and
sure, but
engineering it.
everybody has that
Yeah,
that gets famous.
They were a multi-million-dollar operation, and they had a huge staff of people in support: designers, fashion designers, fucking graphic designers, guys to come in to clean the music up, writers that would come in and says, "Yeah, it's a pretty good song, but let's arrange it this way." You know what I mean? So they were. When they lost all that support, they weren't quite as good. When Big Thing came out, they were good, but they weren't quite as good as they were.
I think that was the last album of theirs that I bought.
Yeah,
like, and I
that-
didn't love
Medazid Land
it.
was okay.
That one was alright.
It had Electric Barbarella on it.
That's an okay song.
Yeah.
I like some of their older shit, like or some of their new. Well, we call it newer. It's old now, but I mean, I still call it newer because I consider most of the shit that I liked of theirs was from the '80s. But I mean, shit, man. Every time, like, we go to the '80s night at Barbarella and he plays like fucking Wild Boys, I'm out there. Actually, he plays any Duran Duran song, and I'm out there. Other than, like, he plays Planet Earth a lot. There used to be, when he was still in the downtown area, Barbarella, there used to be a joke that at 11 p.m. he would always play Planet Earth.
Yeah.
And like everybody's like, "Oh, Planet Earth is is it 11 o'clock already?" So I think like he kind of got sensitive about that, so he doesn't do it. He still plays Planet Earth, but it's not at 11 o'clock anymore. Yeah. And I've noticed that he started playing different ones. Last time we were there, he played 2 in a row. I think he played Wild Boys and then he played Union of the Snake, which I thought was like really cool.
Yeah, Xanet remembers what I'm talking about. He said it could have been Grandmaster Flash I was thinking of, or the Sugar Hill Gang. And I think it was the Sugar Hill Gang. I remember that predated the Rapture.
Yeah, you're right. Gilded Age Phoenix said, "I think Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang
Rapper's Delight
was the first rap song to hit the charts.
Rapper's Delight.
The Chic rhythm probably had something to do with it.
Rapper's Delight was the name of it. Yep, that's
And he also says the man from Mars, the guy in white in the Rapture video, was a famous choreographer, helped design the dance moves in the video. Fab Five Freddy was a graffiti tagger in the video, I think. So he was in the video.
He was in it, but he wasn't the guy in white.
But he wasn't the guy in white.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Right.
I haven't seen that video in a while. Well, no, that's not true. I saw it. They played it. He played it at the club like a month ago. And he usually plays, like, on 80s night, they always have the videos, if they have them. So I think I saw it like a month ago. But it's, I mean, I don't know. I saw those videos, like, so many times, like, growing up. They're, like, burned into my fucking brain. But I was going to say, it kind of reminded me, too, that as far as bands that were like kind of rock new wave bands that were also like super reggae influenced was the Police. I kind of feel like they were really reggae influenced also. And I really liked the Police. I think honestly the Police, they were that was the first vinyl album that I bought with my own money. Like I had albums before that other people had given me, but the first time that I had my own money and I went to a store and bought an album, it was a Police album. It was Synchronicity, I think, which was 1983. I played the fuck out of that shit. I still know all the words. Like last week at the 80s night, I think he played Wrapped Around Your Finger, right? Yeah. Because he'll usually play some Police like early on in the night because the guy that owns it like really likes the Police too. No. But like he played, I'm pretty sure he played that like real early in the night before anybody got there.
There was another song that I remember came out that, looking back on it, I was just, man, that is a really unique song. And from that, I think a lot of industrial came from, like with Skinny Puppy, and it was called Buffalo Girls.
I remember that.
I don't remember the name of the band, but it had a guy who was a square dancing guy. They had taken him and spliced up his vocals, and had run some shit backwards and had everything all remixed. It was like it was made out of fucking secondhand music, kind of like the way a lot of, like they were almost kind of like Vaporwave does. And it was just when Buffalo Girls go around the outside, and do-si-do to apart, and it was like, and it was weird like that, but I don't remember who did that.
I kind of remember, but it's like it's
Yeah.
escaping my mind at
And
the moment.
that was Malcolm McLaren that brought that to market.
Yeah.
And who's the guy who managed the Sex Pistols. Well, when I first heard Skinny Puppy, I said, man, that sounds like that band that did Buffalo Girls.
Right.
And I think that might have been maybe some of the inspiration for Industrial.
Yeah, it was all like it was kind of like found footage movies where it's a horror, like, but it was going on in music like a long time ago, where they would find these pieces of stuff and like put it all together.
Yeah, another one that kind of reminded me of early Industrial, but it was like upbeat and positive and kind of ambient, was Tom Tom Club.
Yeah, that was what's her name from Tina Weymouth from Talking Heads and what was her boyfriend's name? He was
Brown,
in the band too. Chris
James
something.
Brown.
I can't remember what his name was.
Yeah, that kind of Tom Tom Club kind of sounded industrial to me, but
a little bit, yeah.
It was upbeat though. It wasn't.
We heard that song in a fucking commercial the other day. What was it a commercial for?
It's funny how that
Marshalls or Home Goods or something like that.
It's funny how that song hasn't aged that much. It sounds like
not really. It doesn't
like something you made today.
Well, it was kind of a weird song at the time.
It was futuristic, yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm really not the best judge because like I was alive when that song came out. Like I remember when that song came out.
Yeah.
And like it sounded weird at the time, but it's like so I have no idea what it sounds like to people nowadays that weren't alive.
It just sounds like a regular song to them. But it was
because everything's different now. Like I said, everything's different because everything's kind of unmoored from its era.
Right.
Because you can access any music from any era at any time. So it's just kind of like you can stumble across a song and not know. Shit, man, I've got songs like on my Spotify playlist and it'll add songs because I told it that it could.
Yeah.
It'll add songs and sometimes the song will come on and I'm like, wait, is this old or is this new? Like I have to look and see.
Okay, Dimitri said we should get there early.
Why?
I don't know. He just posted that. He says make sure you guys show up early.
Oh, okay.
So, it's 9:30 is when it opens?
Yeah, it opens at 9:30.
Okay,
How early is he talking about?
I don't know. He just didn't say.
I mean, we always get there early.
Well, it's
like
a half hour from now.
open.
We should probably pretty much shut it down, and I gotta fucking warm up and get ready and shit for the drive.
Okay, well, hold on.
Okay.
Let me answer a couple of questions. Yeah, Tina and the drummer are married in real life. Yeah, I thought they were. What is his last name, though? It's Chris something. I remembered her last name, but I didn't remember his. And the CB said the last album I bought was Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood. I remember the first vinyl album I bought, which was Synchronicity by the Police. I remember the first cassette tape I bought, which was The Walk by The Cure. And I remember the first CD that I bought, which was Extricate by The Fall. Isn't that crazy? I remember all of that formats. I even remember the first movie that I bought on DVD.
What's funny is that
Amadeus.
Yeah. I think the first album I bought with the first album I bought with my own money might have been fucking Synchronicity also.
Yeah, I distinctly remember. Like I said, I had albums before that other people had given me.
Yeah.
But that was the first one that I bought.
I had stuff that I bought with
my own
allowance
money.
and shit. Yeah, with allowance.
That was the first one I bought with my own money.
Yeah.
And I played the shit out of it. It
was a good album.
That was a good album. I still like that album. I have it on Spotify too. CB said the very best of Dokken is a fantastic album. He likes hair metal.
Hair metal, yeah.
I never got into hair metal, man. Like when I was in junior high, like in the mid 80s, it was kind of the school was divided into two types of people. You were either into new wave, as I was, or you were into hair metal, and the two groups did not get along.
Yeah.
I will just say. And that was junior high. And I still remember that. I used to have like a really kick-ass satin Duran jacket. My mom gave it to me like for my birthday or something, and like I used to get picked on incessantly for having it.
I basically walked away from metal when Bon Jovi came out.
Chris France, thank you. I knew his first name was Chris.
When Bon Jovi came out, I was like, oh, nah, this is a wrap.
This is not for me anymore.
This is a wrap. Yeah, I was like, heavy metal's now going female market. It's going to go be a girl's.
Well, not even so much. It's just kind of like it's just
White Lion and
normie.
Shit. Yeah, real normie. And I was like, okay, I can't do this.
I don't like normie anything, to be honest.
So then I started getting into shit like there was, Bauhaus, Sisters of Mercy, and fucking, and then that opened up. So okay, let's listen to some U2 also. Let's listen, and I started, going backwards and shit. Billy Idol. That
Yeah.
kind of crap.
I mean, I kind of came at it different because you were into metal
Yeah. Metal
earlier.
Yeah,
Like, I got into new wave as soon as it came out. Like, as soon as MTV, like, I was 9 when MTV started, and as soon as that started, I was all in. Like, I got into, like, Duran Duran and Modern English and the Psychedelic Furs, and I got into all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, this shit is so good.
I can't say I was into metal first because I first started listening to music when I was fucking in California in military academy, and fucking I was listening to KROQ, and it was an all new wave. So, man, I liked fucking... Planet Earth had just come out and all that. And I was
that was
big
81.
I think the first album that I bought, but it was with my mom's money, was Missing Persons.
Yeah. Oh, they're good. I like Missing Persons.
And it was the one that had Walking in L.A. in it and everything. And that was a pretty good album.
Then
I went back and I bought the other one that was before that had Mental Hopscotch in it. And then I bought Oingo Boingo, Only a Lad, and then Oingo Boingo, Nothing to... I think it's called Nothing to Fear. I think it was called Nothing to Fear. It was, so I only had like 3 or 4 albums, maybe 5, when I went to Brazil. And then when I got to Brazil, I fucking got some Devo albums. They were real good.
Tom loves Devo.
I like Devo.
You don't even
They were
know.
fucking tight, yeah. Fucking liked Duty Now for the Future, Freedom of Choice and shit. Fucking, yeah. They were good. They
and
were
that's the
tight.
thing, too, is I kind of feel like some people that are just casually into 80s music, they're just kind of like, oh, Devo, Whip It, or like Gary Newman, Cars,
I like
or whatever. But
it's
just, but they have like, those artists have like a huge catalog of really good shit. It's like, they would pop up in the mainstream like with one song that got super popular, but it's just like they have all kind of good shit like going
their
on.
first album, Are We Not Men, that had Jocko Homo on it, and it was fucking great, man. And fucking Saw My Baby Getting Slappy, fucking Satisfaction's on it, fucking, and then I like Duty Now for the Future, the second.
I kind of love their Satisfaction cover.
Yeah, it was good.
It's like so sacrilegious, and yet
really not. And they kind of had a punk American kind of a punk vibe to them. It was like high tech, and they had really good fucking timing. They were real tight, but they were also kind of vocals were messy and fucking insane. Mark Mothersbaugh was like on the edge of a mental breakdown. Fucking as he was going through that shit, it was just great. But then I got into metal.
Okay.
Got into metal after that.
Then
I went back a couple years later.
Yeah,
it seemed like a long time when you were a kid.
Yeah.
But it was probably only 18 months, 24 months.
They're talking about Mongoloid. Yeah, that's a great...
Mongoloid. Yeah, that's a good
I have that on the Spotify playlist too. And Oingo Boingo, I think Only a Lad is probably my favorite song of theirs, but I also like Nothing Bad Ever Happens to Me. That's a good song too.
The best Devo song is off Duty Now for the Future. It's called Smart Patrol and Mr. DNA. And Mr. DNA is when Devo explains to you that they gotta fuck all these chicks for altruistic purposes to help correct all the genetic damage that's being done to you. Okay, that if they can impregnate enough women, that they can save the human race. That's fucking and they got scientists to help them do it.
All right.
That's pure Devo. Because Devo has a lot of sexual undertones in it.
I'm going to sign on to the Devo plan.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's get out of here.
All right, so we better get going because the DJ just told us we have to get there early.
Yeah.
I don't know how early he's talking.
I think he just means 9:30.
Okay, well, that's what we were going to... But like I said, they don't open until 10, though, right?
I thought it was 9:30.
Well, they open at 9:30 on Saturday night.
Okay.
On Memento nights, they open at 10.
You know this? Then he means 10.
But I don't know if he means 10 or 9:30. But I mean, we could... Okay. So we'll just kind of play it by ear. If we have to sit in the parking lot for 20 minutes.
Well, no, it might only be 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
Oh, and Gilded Age Phoenix said No One Lives Forever. Yeah, that's a great song too. I also have that on the Spotify. And yeah, that was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. That's right. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, I love that song. That's also on my Spotify playlist. We have a Driving to the Club playlist that has all of this stuff on it. All right, so we are going to sign out for the evening so we can go and do our thing. So you guys have a really good weekend. We'll be back on Monday night talking about a movie. I don't know what movie it's going to be yet. We'll find something. But yeah, thank you everybody for dropping by and hanging out with us this Friday evening. Thank you for your super chats. And we will see you again on Monday night. Good night.